Yo, what's up guys? It's RicRom here, and I'm gonna bring you guys a new video. We're gonna be talking about the Fatal Fury City of the Wolves final beta. But yeah, let's get right into it, man. So I decided to play the beta on my Xbox Series X just to see how it would run, and I also did the 4K capture card, and I wanted to see how well it's gonna turn on the video. Honestly, I don't know, because the editing video software can get a little, it'll lose a little bit of its quality. But yeah, let's just get right into it, man. So I played a decent amount of matches on ranked, and let me tell you guys, this showed me what this game was about. And what I mean by that is that I am super hyped about this game. I've been hyped for this game for about a while, but the other thing that kind of makes me a little bit worried is that I fear it is going to be a modern fighter. And why do I say that? I say that because it is involving in the new rev system. The new rev system is something that is going to be a little, dare I say, controversial when it first gets released to everybody who plays this game. Well, dare to say that I'm not a huge fan of it, only because it reminds me of other mechanics, just like heat and drive rush or drive meter from Street Fighter 6. And you know, we've seen how well that can burn out a lot of people, especially veteran players from fighting games. But newer players into the genre really do like this type of stuff. Is this something I'm a big fan of? Not really, because it does feel like it does kind of take away from legacy skill, as you can see here. What I didn't show was that I played a lot of ranked games off stream, and I didn't get a chance to record them. But man, I was getting destroyed by a bunch of people, man. Having EX meter and EX move like from the start of the round is something I don't personally agree with, only because I've been playing games for so long that you have to build up to have the EX meter. But it is going to be something that we're all going to have to try and get used to, you know. It reminds me of like the drive rush, you know, where people are just going to be doing EX until they get burnout, which is the different version here, which is the rev guard or rev system, you know. And the rev system, you get access to EX meter, and that's something you have to use to survive in this game, man. It feels like I'm playing to survive in Fatal Fury, which is crazy because the games and SNK games are already built off a very strict inputs and like, you know, really strict timing. But this is something that feels like very different to the genre, not to the genre, but to SNK games, and I'm not sure how well I am receiving this. And I did play a lot of Terry and Rock. I didn't really venture out to the other characters. I know in this beta they had T-Zoc, Mai, Hotaru, Vox. Vox is a character that I'm going to be very surprised at, because I'm going to see if a lot of people are going to pick him up just because he has a lot of good combos involving the rev meter. It feels like he is very favored by this system. But yeah, man, SNK, man, this is going to be a very, how do I say this, man? I wouldn't say controversial, but it's going to be a very mixed game when it comes to the mechanics, because this is one of the first SNK games that I've seen that added a 5th button. Most SNK games you can practically play with 4 buttons, you know, the A, B, C, and D, which has always been like their main button layout ever since the Neo Geo days. But this time they added a new button for the rev, and like when it comes to like CDs and like all the other like button commands, like, you know, the ACs or BDs, that's saved more for like feints in this game. And you'll see a lot of people do feints in this game just to extend their combos, which it looks something really cool. You used to see that like in KOF 15 when it came to Team Garo. Now everybody has access to that. But the thing is that it's gonna be like way kind of intimidating, is that the rev system is gonna favor a lot of longer combos with EX meter, and it's just very powerful from what I've seen like playing into this game, man. There's been games where I've just been like TOD'd or just like instant like reset, and just like had half my meter just taken away by one single combo. And I'm not sure how well I like that. It just reminds me of Drive Rush, or like where heat can just take a lot out of you, man, and it's just very oppressive. This feels like a very, how do I say it, a very oppressive game, you know, with rushdown being and offense being your best friend here. It's exactly what I feel like when it came to Tekken 8 and SF6. And just seeing that there's going to be a lot of new players coming to this game, man, the inputs are a little bit more strict in this game. It's not as lenient as it is like in Capcom fighters, or even in other 2D fighters, where you can input a Hadouken. No, I was dropping a lot of inputs. I'm not sure if it's because if it was a netcode or if just that the game just is a lot more stricter when it comes to inputs like this. But yeah, man, the netcode from what I felt was pretty good. Some of it felt very delayed, as I can say. Last beta did not feel that bad, but I'm not sure if it's just the game feeling a little bit more heavy. How do I say, like heavy or weighty to the game, and just a lot more stricter input motions. And you know, I felt like I was dropping a lot of combos when I felt like I could have been doing a little bit more, especially when it came to Terry. I swear I was doing Power Wave a lot, but I guess it might be netcode or just my poor input timing, because I have been like getting used to a little bit to the Capcom fighters where they were doing a lot of more lenient input motions. But I don't know, I can't really say that when I came to Rock, because with Rock I was doing a lot of how do I say, quarter circle backs and quarter circle forwards, and it felt like it was very good. Like it felt like it was, you know, it felt like it was a lot better. Maybe it was just a connection, or maybe it just comes to some characters with that they have stricter inputs. But yeah, how do I say this? With playing this game on ranked is something that I'm gonna try to play a little bit more. But from what I played in this beta, man, it felt very sweaty, man. It felt exactly how I felt like when I'm playing SF6 and Tekken 8. I'm like, damn, I'm really fighting for my life, man. And then when I go to casual, there's more people on my level, so I guess the matchmaking is also not as good. But when you play like a casual level and people on your level, it feels very nice. You know, it feels like it's some back and forth. It feels like traditional old school SNK games. But once you get into rank and like you fight like a T-Lock that starts with his EX grab and doing like a bunch of combos with EX meter before he even gets burnout, I think that is something that needs to be revised and rechecked. The rev drive or rev meter, whatever we're gonna call it, I think it's very powerful, especially since if you start or like are in SPG. That's something that's gonna be very scary to play, man. And I'm sure we're gonna give this time to like settle and, you know, just to see how it plays out. But at the same time, I am very worried, man. I hope that in the few weeks leading up to Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, we kind of nerf Rev. I'm already saying nerf Rev. But yeah, if it doesn't just get looked into a little bit more, I believe it's going to be something that people are going to get turned off about, and they're going to get tired of, because we already dealt with that in Tekken 8 and SF6, which is why a lot of people dropped the game. And now it's kind of like infecting the SNK games, which is something I really wish they would avoid, you know. But we're gonna see how well this plays out, because man, this is something I really hope doesn't get really powerful when it comes to the game, especially when newcomers are gonna be playing. You know, since we got Ronaldo in base roster, which is something funny. I thought it was hilarious. But yeah, this is something that we're gonna have to like definitely like look into, man. Like SNK, you're definitely gonna have to look into seeing how powerful this is. Like, I would say if you start out the match with like a rev combo doing a bunch of EX meter, I feel like you should go and burn out faster, not your opponent, because I'm pretty sure your opponent also gets punished for not doing like rev meter or getting hit by the rev system, and then you're already in burnout. And I'm like, I don't know what I just fucking did, you know. I'm getting hit and all of a sudden I can't use EX moves. But yeah, man, so to give you guys like an impression about this game, Fatal Fury feels very in this game, it feels very Street Fighter like, you know. Fatal Fury and Street Fighter really do go hand in hand, but this felt like it was very inspired by Street Fighter 6, and maybe a little too late, because we're hearing a lot about SF6 burnout and a lot of people just don't seem to vibe with that game. But I think the only thing that we can think about this is that for future fighting games, or if any other fighting games are coming out, you have to work for your meter. You have to work for your EX, and you have to work for your enhanced moves, whether it be Tekken, MK, or Street Fighter, man. Something traditional about fighting games is that you always have to work for your EX enhanced move. If you start out the round with like that, you're not really going to be learning a lot of your, how do I say, counter plays, or you're going to not learn a lot of, how do I say, normal executions or normal pokes and all that stuff, basically, which is something I try to play a little bit more like traditional Goro, and I felt like I was falling behind, man. Maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just a little too old, but it just felt like it was just getting a little too overwhelming. But yeah, I'm not sure how long this recording is or how long the video is going to go out for. But yeah, this is something I'm going to really keep an eye out. I am going to be buying this day one just to stream it. And I hope a lot of people do play this game in Fatal Fury. But there's the biggest hope I hope that SNK is going to be listening to the fans is that Rev system is a little too powerful, man. I feel like if you start around with a Rev like EX combo, you have to be in Burnout, man, because that is probably the only way I can think about it being nerfed, which is probably why they did like a few betas before this, before the initial release. But yeah, you're gonna get overwhelmed by the system a lot, man. It's not gonna feel like a traditional old school fighter. Definitely, it is following the trend of other fighters when they're making everything more oppressive and overwhelming, which is something I hope it does kind of like get nerfed out, you know. Back then it was auto combos, but now that auto combos are kind of going away out in the wayside, they're changing it to modern controls. But now I think the biggest like thing that I think that is kind of infecting these games is just like the automatic EX meter and the super oppressive, super overwhelming system and mechanics. I think that's something that needs to be looked at, man. Back then in almost every game you have to work for your meter, and this one you just kind of already have it. But yeah, sorry, I just got like a call in the middle of this, like while I'm recording. But yeah, am I hyped for Fatal Fury? Are you guys hyped for Fatal Fury? I'm very hyped for this game, man, especially just with the starting roster and that we got like a guest character, basically a fucking guest person. Ronaldo is in fucking Fatal Fury and base roster. Meanwhile, Tekken has to pay, like you have to pay to get fucking Eddie Gordo and Heihachi legacy characters. But that's beside the point. I am very hyped for Fatal Fury. I'm very curious to see what you guys thought about the beta. What do you guys think about the rev system? That is something that I'm very concerned about, that I hope does get nerfed. Probably in the first few weeks of the game, or maybe even leading up to the game, making it not as powerful as it is in the beta. But yeah, man, the characters feel very nice. They do feel old school. Terry has his old moves, and so does Rock has some newer moves. Everybody does feel a little slower and more weighty, and they have a little bit more power behind every strike. But at the same time, I feel like you need to survive in this game by using the rev system, which is something I kind of hope we like. It's not uncommon to like not use those just to win the match, but it feels like it's something that everyone's going to be relying on in this game. But I do hope to see some changes into the system. The netcode was a little bit better. The UI was about the same. I think that's probably not going to change. We're already this far into the game, and that's probably not going to change. So it really doesn't matter, to be honest. But yeah, Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, the final beta came out right before, like a month before the game came out, and I'm very excited to play the game. If anything, I'll probably just sink more hours into casual matches, because that is where players are more my level, and like I'm still trying to learn the system. But yeah, what do you guys think about Fatal Fury City of the Wolves? And let me know if you guys gonna buy the game. Are you guys hyped? And until next time, I await your return, Warriors.
Round 2. Get ready. Fight.
Continue.